Hi, everyone. Well, we're into the big year of 2024, so I wanted to do a video about all the things that are happening this year in the sky and how it's relating to Trump, and also the eclipse that's coming up on April 8th that is actually passing through St. Louis, which is really important. And that's a big part of my book, which I will get finished before the eclipse. So I just wanted to go over a few of the things of why the X is popping up so much. Here in Leap Project, he had kind of put this out that the X is very popular this year. So the solar eclipse is happening, and that creates an X across the United States. If you followed my past videos, you see that I've been talking about this for years. Elon Musk has changed Twitter to X. Then we have SpaceX in Texas. We have social media and the news a buzz about the disease of the pathogen X. So, and then some people believe that Planet X will be visible in the sky. So those are some of the things that are popping up. So why is the X so important? Now, when I started thinking about this in a Hermetic sense, the letter X is the number 24, and we're in the year 2024. Venus has a sidereal cycle of 2024 days. Okay, so what's interesting about Venus, the pentagram creates an X, right, in the center of it. And hermetically, when you cross your arms, it means Venus. Okay, so I'm going to go through why Venus is so important. Trump sidereally is born in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus and Earth. Okay, so that's your third eye. Hermetically, your third eye is ruled by Taurus. The lateral ventricle horns behind your eye in your forehead is known as the horns, and that is partly why it's so easy to understand how the chakras are ruled by different constellations, because it's all related to the body. And if you have taken my classes, you'll understand that every a constellation has a representation inside your body. Okay, so I just want to go over a little bit more about the number 24 and where it's popping up. Okay, so they had originally made this logo for the Paris Olympics in 2024. Now, this symbol here is actually the alchemic symbol for Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter is the number 24, right? And who is Jupiter? He rules the ninth house and the 12th house. The ninth house is the higher mind, higher spiritual house. And then the 12th house is your psyche, right? And there's the whole mythology of Psyche when she travels in the ferry with Charon, the psychocomp that actually is the ferryman. I know Krista Berg does a song about that. Okay, so that you have to travel with the ferryman. You actually have to give him money to get to Hades. And that's what happens mythologically with your soul. You go to Hades. Jesus went to Hades as well. There's two places to go in Hades, the Elysian Fields or Tartarus. And this is obviously you want to go to the Elysian Fields because it's a very peaceful, beautiful place on the Blessed Isles. Okay, so it's all about judging the soul. Okay, so I'm going to go through why I believe Trump is representing Mercury, who helps Chiron take the souls across the river Styx to Hades. Okay, so there's a mythological story going on through what's happening in the sky and through the numbers of the year 2024. So here's Elon Musk with his X app for Twitter. Now we have the eclipse that's happening on April 8th, and it's going from Mexico all the way up into Canada below Montreal, where I live. So I will be in the path of that eclipse. And it's going through St. Louis. And that's very, very important because the last one 7 years ago went through St. Louis from the West Coast up in Washington. It went down to, I think, South Carolina, something like that. So it went across the North America one way, and now we're getting the other way. We're making the X. Now, what's happening is that this eclipse is happening in Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter, right? Number 24. And there's a conjunction with Mercury. Now, that's important. I'm going to just keep remembering Trump is Mercury. Mercury rules finance, even though he doesn't rule the second house, which is possessions. He rules um, Virgo, which is service to others, the Virgin Mary. That's what is ruled by Mercury. And also Gemini, the twin towers, the twins in the sky, okay, is ruled by Mercury, and which is communication. Now, Mercury also rules your health, okay, so because of Virgo rules the sixth house, that's the house of health, okay, and service. So it's interesting that Mercury's conjunct with this eclipse. Now we have Jupiter and Uranus in conjunction, still in Aries, and there's also a comet there. The Pons-Brooks comet is in this conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter. So we have Venus down on the tail of Cetus, and this is an important location. These are the three guided stars that run from here, that come from Cassiopeia through Pegasus here. They're known as the three guided stars. So this location in the sky is very important, and Venus happens to be there. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going on here about the importance of this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Okay, you need to break free because Uranus is all about freedom. He's the rebel. Okay, he rules Aquarius, and he likes freedom. He doesn't like anything that is normal, very eccentric. Okay, so you need to break free and expand your life in some way that leads you to have a more independence. So it's Independence Day, right? We're getting back to that. Why is this so important? Because Pluto is now back in the same location this year as it was on the founding United States. Okay, so this is why it's so important that everything's about independence. Okay, you should embrace your individuality and try new things and allow yourself to have new experiences. You're more open to other people and other ways of living. You may experiment, but don't go too far. Okay, so that's what's happening with that conjunction. So I wanted to show you exactly, because a lot of tropical astrologers are saying that Pluto is now in Aquarius. This is not Aquarius, this is Capricorn. And this is where it was on the founding of the United States, just kind of entering into Capricorn from Sagittarius. Okay, the border is like right here. I couldn't pull the border up at the same time because Pluto isn't one of the regular planets on stellarium. You have to pull them up. But anyhow, you see this star here right at the nose. He's right there, okay? And now on July 4th this year, it will be in the same location. But this is in retrograde. He's in retrograde at this time. He goes into this location beforehand. He actually happens in February, which I'll show you that on the wheel. But it is on the wheel. So you're going to see how things are kind of identical. Okay, it's taken Pluto, I think 248 years to get back here. Okay, it's one cycle. He's only done one orbit since the founding of the United States. He was retrograde on the founding. He's retrograde again. What's really fascinating is there's an opposition to Mercury. Mercury is behind here. He's a little horned silver guy. He's in Cancer. So Cancer rules the summer solstice in ancient astrology, like way back in time. And tropical astrologers still say that, right? So it's like Cancer rules the summer solstice and Capricorn is the winter solstice. Back in time, that's when the solstices were happening. So Mercury is in opposition to Pluto, and there he is again in opposition to Pluto in Cancer, where it was in the founding and where it is now again this year. So that's really fascinating for me. And I'm going to go into more why that is, because I believe Trump is Mercury and he takes you to Hades, which is Pluto. Okay, he's going to take us on a journey, your inner workings, your dark, deep, dark night of the soul, you have to go and you have to be judged right now. Okay. And he is going to help you go on this ferry ride across the river Styx. He's part of the mythology, is what I believe. Okay, so everything else, like of course the sun is in Gemini, the sun is in Gemini when the founding happened. Venus was in Gemini in the founding, and she's back there again in Gemini. Now, Neptune's in a different spot. Saturn was in Mercury ruled Virgo, and now Saturn's in Mercury ruled Pisces. So we have time related to Mercury. Okay, he's the messenger god for the gods. Okay, Mercury, he's Hermes. So the hermaphrodite. Okay, why is the hermaphrodite Mercury and Venus? Mercury is Hermes, it's, you know, and then Venus is Aphrodite. The hermaphrodite is basically your heart. Venus rules your love, okay? And Mercury rules the mind. So there's this heart and head connection that has to be kind of flipped, because Venus rules your third eye, she's up in your head, and Mercury rules your communication, your mouth. He's down kind of in your chest at the base of your throat. Okay, so there has to be a switch there to kind of balance the feminine and masculine energies. Okay, so that's yeah, pretty much what's going on. And then we see the wound, Chiron. That's not Charon, the fairy guy. This is a different guy. Chiron is a centaur that teaches Asclepius how to heal people. He is in the 12th house in both locations, and that's all to do with your soul, right? That's your spirituality. Pisces rules spirituality. That's where the eclipse is going to be, in Pisces. And this is kind of like the dark night of your soul on the wheel. Now, everything's kind of hidden and the energies are kind of depleted in the 12th house. But Chiron in the 12th house asks you to do service to the large group, to the universe, okay? Because the 12th house is the end. It's like ever expanding outward. So there has to be service to the realm, okay, or to the group, okay, to the masses. So this is really ideal for Trump, okay, to be coming in at this time. Now, it's actually going to pass the location on February 24th, which is interesting because it's mirroring 242, February being the second month, to 224. Okay, so if you put February here, it would be 224, 224. Okay, so he's passing there, and that's the, like I said, the sidereal orbit of Venus. Okay, so that's really interesting. So that's in a month away. So that's why I wanted to get this video, guys, out to you, so you weren't getting all confused with, you know, the tropical saying it's going into Aquarius. Okay, it's not going into Aquarius, it's going into Capricorn. And you can see the difference here of the what one means compared to the other. So this would be sidereal and this would be tropical. Okay, so they're saying with Pluto is power, right? Pluto rules Scorpio, or you could say the upper house of Scorpio, or Fucius. It's where you're you have to go into your Hades inside you, your dark night of your soul, to become powerful, to kind of transmute yourself, the darkness in yourself, because everybody is not just light, right? We're a balance of dark and light. Okay, so that is where you gain your power in Capricorn, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn in tarot. It would be the devil card. It's Capricorn Earth. Okay, so it's all about your legacy. Capricorn rules the 10th house, and people say, oh, it's the career, but it's really your legacy of who you are. Who are you? Okay, and who do you represent? And are you strong at this moment? Okay, and are you responsible? Okay, so Pluto going into Capricorn, you're practical, hardworking, and ambitious, because you want to have a good legacy of yourself. You have self-control. So in Pluto being in Capricorn, it gives you self-control. You know how to create your own power, okay? And it helps you achieve the success you want. you can bring order and structure and create your own power. Okay, so that's what's happening this year. Okay, so Trump is going to be creating his own power, and we're all going to be creating our own power because of what's happening. Okay, so in the tropical version, they're saying Pluto's in Aquarius, and they're just basically saying, you know, you push boundaries. You're an individual, you do your own thing in your own way. You want everyone to be free to have the life that they want. Okay, so that's all very nice, but the power isn't there. Okay, your inner power is best in Capricorn because it's ruled by Earth, and we want to be grounded and we want to be responsible at this time, not like you know, just wanting your own way and doing your own thing. Okay, so that's why it's important. Now we know about Trump when he tweeted out that he was Thanos. Now, who is Thanos? He's represented by death, right? And so he's also kind of like Charon, the fairy keeper that takes you across. Thanos is just in a different mythology, but he's the god of death. Okay, so that's what Charon is. He's basically um, um, taking you on your death journey to be judged. It's your judgment of your soul. Okay, so this was tweeted out on December 10th, 2019, and you know the news kind of went crazy because you know it was like you know Trump was you know making no sense saying that he was the god of death. You know, it's like why would that be? It has to do with the hand. Okay, and this I do believe is tied to Orion constellation, that holds the hammer. And I'll go into the mythology about that a little bit more. But what's fascinating is watch it on X, you know. So it's popped up again now. Trump is like Thanos from the Avengers. Political advisor talks about the Republican rival after the Idaho win. Um, uh, so this was a week ago. Okay, so they're bringing him back as the, you know, the god of death. Okay, so he's part of the ferry boat that's crossing the Styx River. Now, this is where they say the Last Judgment. It's in the Sistine Chapel. Charon is depicted by Michelangelo, and he's depicted as very ugly, and he's holding this rod, but sometimes he's known prior to that as holding a hammer, similar to Orion. Here he is armed with a very large hammer, which he mercilessly pummels the dead. You know, so if you're not a good soul and you can't pay him, he's going to pummel you. Okay, so in the Divine Comedy, Charon forces reluctant sinners onto his boat by beating them with his oar. Okay, so here he's beating them onto the boat that they have to do the trip. Okay, and Trump's going to be beating people with a hammer or his Thanos glove. Okay, so but here there's this connection between Hermes, Mercury, and Charon. Okay, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more because yeah, and it's also tied to the golden bow, right? That's like that's a whole other video. But anyhow, it's very interesting hermetically. Often Hermes escorts, so this is Mercury, often Hermes escorts the soul to Charon. Okay, so he gives the souls to the ferry keeper to take them across the river to be judged, who then takes them deeper into the underworld for judgment. Okay, and we know Hades, that's Pluto, right? So that's why they did the founding of the United States with Pluto going into Capricorn. Here's an actual art like jar where they have Mercury, that's Mercury symbol with Charon. So he's like, you can see he's like always traveling with him. Okay, so that's fascinating. And this I found really cool. So Hermes, the psychochomp guide of the dead, leads the shade, which is the bad, of the youth to the skiff of Charon. The ferryman stands in his boat leaning on a pole, He wears a red chiton, which is I guess a vest or something, and the conical workman's cap. Okay, so it's red. So I just find that interesting because it ties to MAGA, right? With Trump wearing the red cap all the time. Okay, so then I spoke about this before. This is like post 5th century BC, writers created an alternative destination for good souls. Accordingly, from Hades, good souls went to the Elysian fields and forgot all their troubles, and the bad souls went to Tartarus, to the deepest depths of Hades. Those souls who had wronged the gods fared even worse and were given wicked and eternal punishments. I know, yeah, so they had to endlessly roll a boulder up a slope. Now, when the whole trucking movement was happening, they gave out money to Canadians, and it was called CERB, spelled like this, CERB. They're now recalling it for businesses to pay it back just this week, okay? So CERB is the terrible three-headed dog that guards Hades, okay? So that's like coming back again, you know? So it's funny how the things are coming back into the realm, the mythology is repeating. In Ireland, the man and mac lar sometimes serves as the same purpose. So in different mythologies, there's always somebody that, takes the souls across the river. Okay. In the Egyptian mythology, it was Osiris. Okay. So each night, Osiris travels through the underworld. Now, Osiris is the constellation Orion. He fought the demons who sought to destroy life, often with the help of other gods. That would be probably Mercury, right? Hermes. One of the most common scenes in Egyptian afterlife was a boat making its way through the underworld. It was helmed by Osiris, the dead king of the gods. So yes, I still, at one point I was thinking, okay, Trump is going to get taken out. He's Osiris. He's the born again god. Maybe that's so. But I see him more as Hermes now, like Thoth. He's like the messenger. He's the one that's kind of bringing the people to Osiris. So we'll see. We'll have to see how the whole thing plays out. But now, the whole path on the Cabala, this is where I started to get onto the Cabala. Now I'm just gonna open up my book here because there's the path to find it. Just bear with me. Okay. So the path, number 24 path, because we're in the 24th, year here, 2024, is the path, the 6th to 7th path. So it runs from the sun, the Teperith, to the Nazak. Sorry for my pronunciation. The path is the imaginative path, renewal, and change. Okay, so you have to change. Now it's ruled by Scorpio. Now here they're saying it is ruled by Scorpio. It's got this little tail. It's not Virgo. This is Scorpio. In the tarot, it's the death card. Okay, so it's really about, being born again. Now, when I was researching this, the Kabbalah, I came up to the Path 24 with this video. You should go check it out. She's got it tied to music notes, okay? And she has music for you to listen to help you with this path. It's known as the Nun path in the Hebrew letters. It's represented by the fish and movement. Here are the stones. It's the death card in the tarot. Okay, now Venus rules the seventh sphere. So Venus, even though she has, she's the pentagram, she's number 5, but in the Kabbalah, she's represented by number 7 because of her sphere. Okay, so that is important to remember. Okay, so number 7, and Trump is 77 right now. He's going to be 78 in June, on June 4th, but he's 77. So, and then I think when he got inaugurated, they did the same thing, right? He was 70. They did it on the seventh month, on the seventh day. You know, they did all the 777s. So that's all tied to this as well. This path will help you work on feeling that you are part of everything. Okay. And everything is part of you. Increased interest and awareness of plants, nature, gardening, nurturing the environment. Why is that? Because Venus rules Taurus, which is Earth. Okay. And the Taurus is represented by all your senses. So very much connected to plants and gardening because of the earth element. Increasing the sensitivity of all the physical senses. Yeah, there we go. Surrendering to a calling. That's what I do. I do these videos. It just tells me to do it. Letting go of the mind, resurrection. So we were getting into the death now. Insight into the interplay of life and death. Knowledge of the power within you. There we're getting the power again. And that is that it is appropriate for whatever you have to do, learning to yield to the cycles of life and death, and utilizing this understanding to determine your direction, accepting your feminine side, and letting go, you get a surge of energy, a spiritual orgasm. Understanding that love is a need to give of yourself, overcoming your fear of death, confronting your fears and conquering them, assimilating grief, the arousal of Kundalini energy through sex, and much more. Okay, so yeah, because yeah, it's all about the divine feminine, right? Taurus. And that's where Trump is born, in Taurus. Now, they're going to decide who the candidate is on July 15th to the 18th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I wanted to know when what was happening in the sky when they picked that date. So July 18th, Mercury, that's Trump, he's in the Lion's Gate. Okay, Venus is on the manger of Jesus. This is the beehive cluster. This is known as the manger. The Cancer rules, you know, your everything to do with feminine. Okay, that's ruled by the moon and water, and that's the main constellation for the heart chakra. The Cancer and Leo rule the heart chakra. One's the breast, one's the heart. Okay. Yeah, so there he is. He's right in the Lion's Gate. You know, so we see, you know, we know he's represented by the lion with the MAGA movement. So that's really cool. This is Trump's birthday this year. He's born with the sun on the Crab Nebula. So the crab being Cancer. This is very much to do with remembering who you are, okay? Because everything to do with the moon is about remembering your past lives, your home, your ancestral line. Okay, that's all to do with the family. Okay, so if I've talked about this before, it was a supernova that was the first supernova where they heard sound coming from it way back, I think in the 11th hundreds or something. It was crazy. It's the first place that like, the Chinese heard sound coming from it. So that's where he's born, and it's conjunct with Mercury this year. Okay. And Venus is there. So they're all in Taurus, right on the hammer of Orion. Okay. So that would be Chiron, or Osiris, okay, judging the souls. And yeah, so I just find that's crazy for his birthday. And Jupiter is right on the path of the judgment of the souls. This comes from the Sirius star, which is over here, right through the path of Orion and right through to Jupiter, which would bring luck. You know, Jupiter always brings luck to the Pleiades. That's where your soul gets judged in the sky. Okay, so that's the path. That, you know, maybe is this the river? Is this the river Styx here somewhere? You know, like I don't know. It's just like This I know is known as the Golden Gate as well, besides the one in Sagittarius. This is also known as the Golden Gate. So yeah, so is that why the horns is the devil, is like the Hades, because it's Taurus? I don't know, it's just weird, but this is where the Egyptians, judged the souls along this path. And Uranus is coming into Taurus. Yeah, so oops, need to go now here. I don't know why that's jammed there. Can't go back. Oh, there we go. Just want to go forward here. Oh, my slideshow has jammed. That's very weird. Why has it done that? I'm just gonna go back. See why that's jamming there. Oh, okay, sorry. That was my last slide. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about, was all to do with, how, this energy that's coming in with Pluto going into Capricorn is really tied to this path of the soul being judged. So we're all being judged, and really it's about being kind to yourself and letting go and starting to realize, that we're in this wonderful story, okay, and it's all kind of unfolding in front of us. So we really want to understand how important this year is. I know the Olympics are opening July 22nd, I believe. And so that's right after they pick the president the presidential candidate for the Republican Party. So that's going to be really important because, they really want to see, the energies of Mercury being in this Golden Gate. I mean, in the Lion's Gate here. I think that's really what's happening. They're kind of like bringing, this is the messenger of the gods, and Trump, I do believe, is Mercury. In Egyptian mythology, he'd be Thoth, so maybe he isn't Osiris, maybe he's just the messenger right now to try to, but who knows? I don't know. I don't want to wish ill on anyone, I don't want him to have to go through a death and rebirth, so I just think it's more about us as a collective and finding our own inner power with Pluto now going into Capricorn. And they must have done this perfectly to know what was going to happen in the future. There's no way that they didn't know that, so they knew the sky in the future. I just want to go back here. So, they were really like planning this. It's like, can you imagine that they planned this over a whole Pluto orbit of 248 years just for us? This is what blows me away, that they had done this all for us to figure out who we are. So it's all about remembering, and it's all about finding your own inner power and connecting to nature. So that's really where I'm going this year. Like I'm starting to, I found my tribe. I have people coming and helping me. We're going to do big gardens, and we're building greenhouses and lots of things outside. So I have less time to be on the computer, but now it's winter time, and I can get all this computer stuff out to you. My classes are available now, not on the website that I had. You have to email me, and I have them, the first 11 classes. I still have the last 4 to do, which I will do. I keep saying I'm going to do them, but I will do them. I just want to get this video out, and then I'm going to sit down and start getting the next class out. And I'm going to finish my book and get that ready before the eclipse. So hang on tight. We're on for a really crazy ride. It's going to get pretty nuts out there because everybody has to transmute their darkness, and a lot of people don't want to, right? So it's going to get more nuts, and people are going to get a little bit more frustrated if they're not doing their inner work. So I hope everybody is good. And don't forget to like and subscribe, share my stuff, please. And just enjoy the show because it's getting really fun. Lots of fun things coming because you can kind of predict what's going to happen now. So take care. Bye.